Awake. Shake dreams from your hair, my nice one. Uh, awful. Awful, awful, awful. Uh, Merry belated Christmas, everybody. Uh, didn't do a Christmas show or a Christmas Eve show or one Wednesday or Saturday. Many or a birthday special like I did last year. Didn't do that. Eh, eh, eh. Just drained, tired, and busy. So there's that. So uh might be going in and out for the first few minutes because I'm eating. I just made supper. So lovely. Also, I have had the craziest 3 days. No, craziest two. It's been 2 days. Jesus, my sense of time is completely fucked up because of working for Paul. So I had the craziest 2 days, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who don't believe me when I say some of the things that I witnessed or saw or heard, but they are all true 100%. I am telling you the God's honest truth about this. So, the breakfast place I go to, uh, one of the co-owner, he's a co-owner, uh, Paul and Pauline. Paul is the guy that works breakfasts. So he asked my father and Donald if I could work for him. And they both just gave me glowing recommendations. And so I've been stuck working for him for 2 weeks, like he said I would have to. He needed somebody to help him for the next 2 weeks. So, whoopee. So, oh, wait, no, no. I did do a stream one day because I was high as a kite with paint from inhaling paint. Okay. Okay, so you guys do know some basis of Paul. Okay. So I was painting a house. A rather shitty house that Paul is going to try and rent out for 800 a month. It's 2 rooms with a closet bathroom. I don't even count the bathroom in the floor plan because of how fucking small it is. It also has 2 little closets. One in the living room, which is going to be the bedroom, and then a kitchen with a little, like I said, a little closet-sized bathroom out off the kitchen, and that's it. That's literally it. It's a 2 room apartment, and he wants 800 a month for it. But that's neither here nor there. What he has me doing now is something that he was referencing the first few days I started working for him, which was I'm going to need you during the time you're painting. I'm going to need you for a couple days to help haul 3 trailer loads worth of merchandise out of a warehouse because I'm going to court with the guy who owns the warehouse because we have a rent dispute. So I'm going to need you to help me clear all my stuff as part of the agreement, the arrangement we have between each other. And once that's done, then I'll be going to court. Okay, that's fine. You want me to haul stuff? You want me to paint an apartment, paint a kitchen and a living room, and then haul junk out and put into a trailer and then put into a new storage place? That sounds tit. You might say. Well, it doesn't sound that bad, Darth. It is that bad. It's horrible. Since day one. He still has not gotten a drill gun or screwdriver set, so I can unscrew the rackets and rails that are holding the weird reed collapsible doors on the closets. Meaning I can't paint two of the three sides of a doorway. I can't. I can't paint them because he doesn't want paint on those stupid little reed closet scrunchy collapsible things. There are two metal poles inside the hang clothes, inside the closets. I can't take them out. Somebody put them in there, and then they put wood. They specifically cut wood to fit around it to build the shelf in each closet. And it's screwed and nailed in. So that means I would need a screw gun and I would have to rip all of the frame. The whole wooden frame would be demolished because I can't get the screws in. I can't get the nails out. They put oh god, I forgot the name of the fucking bit. Basically, it's a pin. You take a pin, you strike it in the wood where you're going to nail, where you are absolutely 100% sure that you're going to nail. You just lightly tap it, you drive your nail in, and then you take that pin again, put it on the head of the nail, and you hit it once or twice, and it drives the nail all the way in. So there's no show. Then you just put some mold, some caulking, or putty, or plaster, or any number of or wood paste, any number of things, and you fill in the hole. But the thing is, the person who did this did not do a very good job of it because there's slight lumps. They just put the shit on there. They didn't sand it. They didn't fucking try and smooth it out. So there'd be no appearance. You would never have known that there were nails in it, but there's lumps. And I chipped away at one and I was like, fuck, there's nails. And they drove them in and they filled it with putty. There's no way I can get these metal rods out. Yeah, Paul says I'm going to have to fucking take him out with something, but he hasn't brought me something to do something about it. And as I probably said before, he made me paint drop ceilings, which is fucking asinine because the drop ceilings he has would have been simpler to take the drop ceilings, like I told him, take them out of the holes, put them on the floor because I have all the fucking tarps and stuff laid down so there's no paint on the floor, which he later told me he doesn't care if there's paint on the floor because he's putting a carpet on it. So the whole fucking gathering all this shit, all these materials, and then laying it down meticulously to make sure that there's not a single drop of paint on the floor. Yeah, halfway through the fucking paint job, he's like, yeah, I don't fucking care if there's any paint on the fucking floor. Go hog wild. I don't give a fuck. I'm putting carpeting down. So what I told him to do when we were going to start painting, sorry, I was going to start painting because he doesn't paint. He doesn't know how to paint. I told him the best way to do this, because not only does he have a rickety ladder that's one leg is a inch shorter than the rest because it got bent, so I can't balance on it properly. But again, it's drop ceiling. No matter how you do it, you're going to move it. You can't apply too much pressure to a drop ceiling. It's going to move upwards because there's nothing holding it in place up above it. It's why it's called a drop ceiling. You just drop it into place and it's held by the metal framework on the ceiling. I told him. It would be simple and quick and efficient if you were to take the drop ceiling, take it out of the hole because you have a ladder, take it out of the hole, stand it upright, and slide it down vertically. Then you could lay down all the sheets on the floor, and I could just walk back and forth, just keep them in a row, just a nice long row, have them vertically, or have two rows horizontally, and I could walk right around it or back and forth with with the paint roller. I could just dump paint on the fucking thing, for God's sakes, and just walk it back and forth and just paint the whole thing like that. I could get all the drop ceiling painted perfectly, no fucking spots missing. There wouldn't be a fucking obvious line to where I painted around the metal trim. None of that. Nah, that's going to take too long. Then the very next day, he tells me, "Oh, let's put water in oil-based paint and try and thin it out. I want to try and get away with just one coat of paint on this. Like, I'm spending too much money. I'm spending almost $18 for a gallon of paint." Well, what you could have done, which would have saved you almost 2 gallons of fucking paint, was if you just, you know, bought more drop ceiling and saved the time and effort of paying a guy almost 8 hours to fucking paint, which is $80. And then what was it, Paul? It was almost $20 per gallon. So that's $120 that you could have spent on drop ceiling, and it would have taken all of 20 minutes to a half hour tops to put it all in. Plus the brand you're buying is the cheapest oil paint you could possibly get. Kills or Kilns? I think it's Kills, because I did not see an N in the title or the brand logo. It's like Kills. And trust me, it does with the fucking fumes it fucking vents out of that damn can and paint. And once I put a first coat on that was it. He hasn't had me come over there since to paint. No, he hasn't done that lately, because what he has me doing now is what he told me that week I started working. Hauling junk. And I'm starting to think that he is illegally he is stealing shit, or just taking shit illegally without permission. And I'm starting to get this very clear fucking picture that he is an asshole that should not be trusted, and that you should never do a deal with. Because here's what happens. So, just down the street, probably 7-8 blocks from where I live, also, apologies for the slurping. I'm eating lo mein. It's kind of hard not to slurp noodle. So anyways, about 7-8 blocks away from me is one of the places that he wants to grab shit from. It is not the, as he put it, Chinaman's place. He says it's a Chinese man that he's been arguing with. Now, this place is an abandoned building that's been abandoned since, oh Christ. It's on the same street as where my great grandmother used to live, for God's sakes. And she died when I was 4. And even then I remember it being abandoned. So it's been abandoned since I was a fucking toddler, if not more. So, anyways, we go there. We go there, and he immediately starts talking about how we need to get out of here as fast as possible, because I don't want the guy who used to own this place, I don't want his daughters or his son to find out we're here, because they're just going to yell, and they're probably going to call the cops on me because they just don't like me. And I had to deal with their father, you see. I don't know why I'm giving a Rick voice, but I don't know. Just sounds like a sleazy asshole kind of voice. So he sits there and starts telling me about how apparently he made a deal with the guy who owned the place. And the guy used to run, I guess, an awning slash shingle slash window slash like an exterior housing shit. And they had a deal where the guy could, I guess, buy antique shit or fucking novelty shit off of Paul or some shit. I don't even know what kind of fucking deal it was. But Paul's trying to get all the shit out of the building, which is awnings, a whole trailer's worth of aluminum siding, paneling, frames, doorways, all kinds of aluminum. Like we got 30, 40 windows out of that place, dressers, toolboxes, tool benches, whatever wasn't bolted down to the fucking ground. Paul essentially threw into the back of his trailers. And we just kept hauling the shit back and forth, back and forth. And so we did that for a day and a half, almost 2 full days. And the final day, I was just done. Like, I was just done. I wanted to smash Paul in his fucking fat fucking face because I could not stand hearing his fucking loud, obnoxious voice anymore. Loud and obnoxious. That is Paul. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't know what the fuck he doesn't know a goddamn thing. He tried telling me that the seasons are the same all across the planet. And I tried telling him, no, the northern and southern hemispheres have vastly different weather cycles. And he tried telling me, no, it's not. That's not true. And he even yelled at his phone to try and prove himself right, and he was proven wrong. And then he's like, "Oh well, I'm just talking about what I was taught in school." And I was like, "Even in your time when you went to school, you were told like what I was taught. My father knows common goddamn sense about the weather system and how climates change, and how all 4 seasons are different. Come on, Paul, don't be that fucking stupid." But he is. He really fucking is. He's also a hoarder. That's another thing. I honestly think he suffers from hoarding disability, or that hoarding in partial disability fucking disorder condition thing. He just loves hoarding. He has 5. I count you and I shit ye not, comrades, 5 places where he stores junk. And I call it junk because it is junk. He thinks it's antiques and stuff. It's not. He has a broken Wizard of Oz like 1980s commemorative lamp with the Wicked Witch of the West flying around it with like this frosted glass look for her smoke. She's broken. She broke right off. She was sitting in a fucking little milk crate covered in fucking like half an inch of dust in the back of a warehouse floor that he's been renting out for 2 years. I'm like, Paul, you gonna throw this out? No. What are you talking about? I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it at the flea market. That right there is easily $90. That's an antique. You can't find those from 1986 or so, whatever the fuck year he told me. I'm like, Paul, she's broken off the lampstand. Like, who's gonna buy a broken commemorative fucking collectible? That's like trying to sell me a Superman action figure from like the 1940s, and both arms are missing. I'm not gonna buy it off of you. I don't care if it's fucking like one of 3 left in existence. I bet you the other 2 have the fucking arms. I'd rather buy a full completed figure than buy a half broken hunk of junk. I'm sorry, Paul. It's junk. Every time somebody says, why are you hauling all that junk? Or, oh, you cleared out that place? Like, you getting all the trash out of there? He just starts yelling at him. He's offended. Oh my God, they think the stuff I'm hauling is junk. And it's like, yeah, Paul, it is junk. Like the aluminum siding we grabbed was rusted and rotting. Also, hi, Queen, and no need to thank me. Excuse me. So that's the first thing that happened. Well, the first few things. Then there's the fact that I had to go to a wake and a funeral. Uh, fucking couple Tuesdays ago, and that following Wednesday, or Wednesday, the day after that Tuesday, I had a funeral and a wake for my great uncle Den, and I didn't go to work for Paul because I was like, no, fuck this. I'm not going to fucking work for Paul on that kind of day. And so I'm not feeling good emotionally because of, my fucking family member passing away. And one of my one of his sons, which is my father's first cousin, which is my second cousin, and he's around my father's age. Grew up with him. His name is Jeff. I've talked about him before because his daughter was dating Ricky, who used to work with Donald. Jeff wanted me and my brother, who is also out of prison, sadly. He wanted both of us to spend time with him because he's, fucking destroyed that his father's dead. So I tell Paul. I text him at like 7 in the morning. I'm supposed to start work at 11:30 in the morning, not 11 like he keeps telling me, because once I get there for 11, he's fucking about for half an hour. So I tell him at 7, I can't go to work today. I'm going to be spending time with some family members who are still like, upset and hurt and depressed over my great uncle's passing. Very next day, he's like, "The fuck didn't you go into work today? Like, why didn't you go into work yesterday?" I'm like, "Paul, my great uncle just died. His kids are fucking just in complete agony. They can't cope. They wanted some family over so that they could feel better. And they asked me to fucking spend some time with them, and I spent some time with them because that's what family fucking does, Paul." Oh, oh, uh, oh, whoa! You should have told me, Paul. I fucking texted you at 7 in the morning yesterday, telling you I can't go to work. I'm going to be spending time with my family because they asked me to be there for them because their fucking father died. He's just an asshole. He's an ignorant. Uh, he is the perfect definition that I always try. It is very hard to try and describe what a cunt is to people when I use that word. I only use that word when I am dealing with somebody like Paul, which is an absolute cunt. That is what he is. He is self serving. He is manipulative. He's a liar. He's an idiot. He cares nothing about the people around him except himself and getting his bottom line. That is one of the many instances where I will flat out say somebody is and I absolutely mean it. Paul is a cunt. So after that fucking bullshit, because I'm still a fucking idiot, and I have agreed to work for 2 weeks, which tomorrow is the 2 week deadline. It will be a full 2 weeks that I've worked for him. Then came the Vietnamese man, or the Vietnamese guy, as I call him. Because he's actually not Chinese, because he clarified it to Paul while Paul was being racist and said that he was actually from fucking South Vietnam. So, what happens? Fuck me. I'm still in kind of pissed off mood because of what happened today with this whole shit. But yesterday we drive out to town because there's a trucker that goes to his restaurant daily, which is one of his friends apparently. He's a trucker, he owns trucks, he hauls freight and stuff. Well, he has a Penske truck that he owns technically. He rents it, but he rents that one specifically, and he's been renting it for years apparently. Paul uses it when he needs to haul shit. So Paul and me drive out in his fucking cluttery fucking hoarder's fucking van or box. Actually, it's not a van; it's a box truck, and the back of it, where you put shit inside a box truck, is filled to the fucking brim with junk. Absolute junk. He has clothes. He has half-eaten bags of food. He has furniture, boxes, empty boxes, boxes full of fittings, metal fittings for pipes that he doesn't do. He doesn't do anything with pipes. Doesn't use them. Nothing. He just has boxes of them sitting on top of tables that are slanted. So when you open the door, slide it upwards to get into this fucking box truck, all the boxes start sliding down finally because they were resting on the fucking thing. Every time we try closing it, it gets jammed because he has so much junk. It fucking clogs the railings that hold the door in place. And then inside the cab of the truck, right in the middle, is a fucking 4-foot high pile of nothing but bags. Bags, junk, clutter. He's got bags filled with fucking Townhouse crackers. He's got fucking 5 empty Cumberland Farms coffee cups that he's drank coffee out of or still has a little bit of coffee in it. So they're getting moldy and shit. They're just sitting on right where his dash is. Every morning that I've had to go into this fucking thing, he has a brand new hot cup of coffee from fucking Cumberland Farms, and he just moves them all down the fucking line closer to me, and he sits the next one right there. There's shit on the floor, so I'm sitting there huddled up almost in a fetal position trying to close the door. So we drive out to town in this fucking thing, and he just keeps complaining because shit just keeps falling because he doesn't know how to fucking drive. He just keeps shaking back and forth, going into the fucking middle of the road. Cross the 2 fucking yellow lines. He's fucking swerving this way and that way. So shit's falling off onto him and onto me. And he keeps complaining. He's like, I gotta fucking clean this thing. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you're not gonna fucking clean this thing. You're just gonna complain and then that's it. So we get to the Penske truck. Then he tells me, oh, well, open up the Penske truck and then start taking some of the boxes out of the fucking box truck and putting inside there. And once I grab a couple of the boxes, he then goes, no, grab this too. That's another problem with Paul. It's never enough. And I don't mean, oh, what you're doing isn't good enough. I'll explain later on as to what I mean by my phrasing. It's not good enough, or it's never enough. So I grab like 7 boxes and I throw them into the Penske truck. We then drive back to the apartment that I was painting, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's all he wanted to do was to drive the Penske truck. He's going to load it with something, and he's going to leave me here so I can finish painting the closets, which I still haven't finished painting. Nope. We're just here to take some of the junk, the 7 boxes of junk, and put them in the other apartment that he has, because it's 2 apartments divided with a fucking door in between, so you could literally walk into your neighbor's apartment. So we just put it in the one that's not being painted. We then drive to the Vietnamese guy's warehouse, which is just down the street from the apartment. Immediately, once I help him back up and open the fucking the power lift on the back of this Penske truck, and I open the door, the back door to it, we then walk into the office, and there's the Vietnamese guy. And Vietnamese guy immediately comes out and goes, "You have rent?" And Paul's like, "Nope, I'm taking you to court because of it." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." Because the Vietnamese guy just keeps following fucking Paul and telling him he owes him fucking like 5 months rent, and how, oh, it was $50, and oh, now it's $250, and oh, you're robbing me. You're robbing me, guy. Ugh. And then Paul's complaining that all his stuff's been moved and ransacked through, and he's telling me, oh, look at this. He's got like clothes racks like that you see at like a fucking store that you roll around that have fucking like 1950s, 1960s sports jackets on them. He's like, "Oh, look at this! Like these two wrecks are gone. You're a witness. When I take him to court, you're coming with me so you can testify to the judge." What? I'm sorry, what? Like, you hired me to help you haul your shit out of this warehouse, and now you're throwing me into the middle of your little fucking spat with this dude that you were renting this place out of. I'm honestly with the way that he acts and the way that he is when it comes to money. I honestly believe that fucking he did in fact rob this dude. He did in fact not pay 5 months rent because all Paul kept doing was just fucking accusing the guy of shit. Apparently, there was a murder on the second floor. The guy owns the whole building. Apparently, there's raves on the second floor, and somebody got stabbed, and the family is suing Vietnamese guy. Supposedly, that's what Paul told me. And then he started saying, "I ain't giving you any money. You have blood on your hands. I don't deal with fucking people who assist murders or avoid or look the other way when somebody gets murdered and shit like that." He's fucking insulting the guy's accent because he can't speak proper English. So he's making fun of him on that. His two Vietnamese children who speak Vietnamese to their father are speaking Vietnamese to their father. And all I can hear is Paul going, "Ching ching chong, yeah, yeah, whatever. Stop talking that ching chang fucking chink shit." And I'm like, holy fuck. Not only am I dealing with an idiot, I'm dealing with an idiot racist. Holy fuck. He then starts taking pictures of shit. He starts taking pictures of a broken table, which it's not broken. It has a leaf. And I'm not sure if people here know what a leaf is when you put it into a table, but it's just an extra section of table you put in to make the table bigger. You pull the table apart, and it'll have little pegs, and the leaf will have either pegs in it that you slide into slots in the table, or it'll have its own set of pegs and a hole and a socket for the pegs inside the table, or it'll just have just sockets. Depends. You slide it in, it fits in the fucking place, it's held together by the pegs on the table or inside the leaf, and then you close it up. And now you have another 6 inches of table space or table length. So he has this leaf out and he's like, "Look at it, it's broken. He broke it." And I'm like, "It looks like a hunk of fucking junk. Like the wood is grayed out, it's weather worn, it's cracking, the paint is peeling off of it, and I don't believe that this motherfucker is gonna take your fucking table, Paul, put it outside so it can get damaged. I don't believe he would do that. In fact, most of your stuff is fucking buried behind other stuff that other people have put there because it's a storage fucking warehouse." So Paul's taking pictures of all kinds of shit. And then he's grilling me, asking me, "Oh, did you see this? Oh, you're a witness. Oh, you've seen this. So just remember this when we go to court." Oh, and I'm like, "Yep, whatever, Paul. Yep, sure. Yep, okay." And who's hauling all of this? Who's moving all these tables and fucking moving all the racks and putting them onto the lift and then moving them into the truck and storing them? I am, by myself, because what's Paul doing? He's bitching and complaining the whole time and arguing with this guy. They're both bickering at each other like fucking school children. That's all they're doing. Both of them are throwing out snide remarks. That's it. That's all they're fucking doing. I'm walking through the gate, through the main door, and I hear them both yelling. I grab something, I walk out, I put it down, and that's it. Like, rinse and repeat for fucking hours. And then after we get one load onto the truck, we then drive to his other warehouse that he has, We back the truck up. I offload all of the shit. I put it where he wants me to. And now comes the part that I stated. It's never enough. So say you have a bunch of junk just sitting in a pile. You have some tables, some chairs, boxes full of clothes, boxes full of books, boxes full of tableware, glassware, all kinds of shit, lamps. So you have this big pile of stuff. Normally, somebody would tell you, hey, grab those chairs and put them in the truck. That's what they want you to grab first. They want you to put the chairs in the truck first. Well, here's how Paul works. Yeah, grab those chairs. Oh, by the way, grab this too. Oh, you know what? Grab this also. But I'm holding 4 boxes in my hands. 2 of them full of chinaware, and then another 2 filled with fucking metal piping. And I can barely hold those all because it's like 200 fucking pounds worth of weight. And he's telling me to grab more shit because, oh, I don't want to waste time walking back and forth just grabbing one thing. Like I grab a table, a whole fucking table by myself, and he's telling me, oh, grab this box while you're at it. While I'm holding like a fucking table that I could literally lay on. And my feet and head would not fucking hang off the damn thing. So I'm holding this by the sides, standing it up vertically with the legs sticking out, and I'm trying to walk it through a bunch of junk without knocking any boxes over, without breaking anything, without tripping over and fucking breaking my own ankles. And he's telling me, oh, don't walk away. You got to grab this other box. And it's like, Paul, I am carrying more shit. Like, do I have 6 arms, Paul? Do I have 6 fucking arms, Paul? Do I literally have a multitude of limbs that can grab all the shit that you keep telling me to grab? If you want to grab the fucking box, grab the fucking box yourself. Bring it out. What is his excuse? Oh, my angina's acting up today. Oh, I have angina real bad. Paul, all you did was drop your fucking keys, bend over, and pick them up. How the fuck is that causing you angina? If it's such a big deal that you have this bad of a medical condition, go to a fucking doctor. And I had to deal with that the whole fucking the last 2 fucking days. And not just those 2 days when I was hauling shit out of that abandoned fucking building where he didn't want the kids knowing that he was fucking taking their dead father's stuff. So once we haul this first load and drive it back and drop it off into this other fucking place, and he's doing the same thing, telling me to grab fucking 30 different things at the same time, and I'm putting it away, we then drive down like 4 I'm sorry, I didn't even specify, I didn't even tell you guys the insane shit that fucking Paul did. So Vietnamese dude keeps asking me who I am. He wants to know who I am. He wants to know how I know Paul. He wants to know what I do for a living. He's just asking me questions because he doesn't know who the fuck I am. I'm just some random dude that Paul came walking into his building with. And he's telling me to grab all this shit. And he's telling Paul, that's not yours, this is mine, and watch out for this. And now he's asking, again, this stranger, what is your name? And what's Paul saying? Don't pay that chink any mind. Don't give him a fucking thing. Don't tell him who you are. Nothing. Don't say a fucking thing. Because he's going to use that against me in court. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm just here to work for Paul. That's it. I'm here to help him get all this shit and put it into the truck. That was all I said to the dude. As we're getting into the truck, the Vietnamese dude then asks Paul where he's taking this, where he's taking all his junk. Because even the Vietnamese dude's saying all this shit is junk, which is pissing off Paul. Paul doesn't say a thing, starts the truck, and we start driving. We then go through 3 towns. We drive through the city. Then we we cross a fucking bridge across the bay, go into another the neighboring city, and then cut through a fucking little town. Then we come back into the city, and then we go to his fucking warehouse. And I'm asking him, the fuck are you going? And he's like, oh, yeah, the reason why he asked me where I'm fucking putting all my shit is because he wants to know where it is. So he's going to the reason why was he was going to go into his car and follow us. That way he could bitch and complain and say that I'm a fucking thief. So that I get kicked out of this other warehouse. And I'm thinking to myself, the guy's running a fucking warehouse. Why would he leave his job unattended? Why, what? Like, whatever, Paul. What the fuck ever. So once we offload this truck, we get back into the truck. Now I start work around 11:30, like I said. It is now 4 o'clock in the fucking afternoon. It is fucking almost pitch fucking blackout because it's winter and the sun comes down at around 2:30 is when the sun starts setting because it's fucking winter. So it's like 4 o'clock. And he keeps telling me every goddamn day we'll stop around 4 o'clock because it gets dark and I got to go back to the restaurant and I got to start my second shift there. Okay. Well, no. What we do is we drive all the way back to the fucking warehouse to load a second load onto the fucking truck. Okay. Now I'm already in a pissed off mood because I could have spent my day working for Donald like I could have every other fucking day because Paul has this insane fucking rationale where he's like, yeah, I'm only going to have like one of the days we were hauling out that abandoned building, we only worked 2.5 hours because he just didn't feel good. His angina. He can't keep lifting stuff, even though I kept giving him the lightest shit. If it had paperwork in it and it wasn't like heavily bogged down, I gave it to him. While I'm hauling out a fucking dresser or a bureau or a fucking like 6 windows in my hands. I'm hauling that shit. I'm hauling an entire fucking workbench by myself. Meh, meh, yeah. Yeah, I know, Paul. It's so hard lifting fucking light boxes of fucking paperwork that you want to keep for some fucking reason. So I'm in a bad I'm in a bad fucking mood. I've been dealing with 2 fucking, and I hate saying this about the Vietnamese dude because I don't know anything about it, but I'm dealing with 2 idiots yelling at each other when both of them could just leave each other the fuck alone. One of them do their job, both of them do their fucking job, and wait until the court date. Like, that's it. Just wait until the fucking court date. So we get back. The place is locked up, even though the warehouse does not close until midnight. Paul walks into the fucking office. He starts yelling at the Vietnamese dude. He starts demand. I'm smoking a cigarette because I need to de-stress myself, and I haven't smoked a cigarette all day. So I'm smoking a cigarette out in the freezing cold, and when I'm done with it, I'm like, where the fuck is Paul? Because when he left, he was like, I'm gonna open up the fucking door from the inside. Well, he can't do it because it's locked. And instead of coming out and telling me, hey, it's locked, come on in, or hey, it's locked, I'll be a while. No, he just leaves me in the fucking dark. So I'm standing out there for like 30 fucking minutes, smoking cigarette after cigarette, trying to calm down. And I'm like, where the fuck is Paul? Like, I'm freezing my balls off out here. So I finally finished my like second cigarette, second or third. And I walk into the office, and there's Paul screaming at the Vietnamese dude. And the Vietnamese dude's holding a blank white sheet of fucking printer paper. And he just keeps saying, sign this, write down whatever you want. And I'm like, the fuck did I walk into? And Paul just keeps screaming. He's like, look, he's just here. He's trying to make me sign this. It's illegal to have somebody try and just have your signature. What he wants to do is he wants to trace and forge my signature. I'm calling the cops. So what's he do? He calls the fucking cops. Then what does he do? He tells me to stand outside in the freezing fucking cold. It's like 10 fucking degrees outside, and it's really fucking windy. And we waited for a good fucking 45 minutes while we waited for the fucking cops to come. And the cops finally did come. And the cops sided with Paul. They told the Vietnamese dude, hey, he's here to take his shit out and move it before the court case. He wants to get all his stuff out. He wants to record all the stuff that's going on. It's in his legal right. Let him in. So Vietnamese dude opens up the fucking warehouse door again, and we start. Sorry, not we. I start hauling shit back out while Paul's still bitching and complaining to him. Then two guys that put shit in there to store hear Paul bitching and complaining from across the parking lot about how somebody's stealing, and there's a bunch of all this dude deals with is a bunch of fucking thieves, and that's why they're stealing all his 1950s sports jackets that nobody fucking wants because they're so fucking dated. You wouldn't want to be caught dead wearing one of these fucking things. And so these two dudes fucking hear him and they start coming over and they're like, "The fuck you saying? You think we steal from you?" And Paul's like, "Well, I ain't saying you don't." So they start screaming at Paul, and Paul starts screaming at them, and the Vietnamese dude siding with the other two dudes, and all three of them are yelling at Paul, and Paul's yelling at all three of them, and it's just this fucking pissing contest while I'm standing there hauling shit piece by fucking piece. And this goes on for an hour and a half until finally I say, "Paul, the truck is loaded. Let's fucking go." And he's like, "Oh, well, we're not going to drop it off today. We're not going to unload it today. We'll do that tomorrow," which is today. I'm just gonna drop you off at your place. So he starts driving me back, and all he does is go on a fucking racist tirade, bitching, complaining about the fucking people, and then drops me off and tells me 11 o'clock tomorrow, like he always fucking says. And I'm like, "Yep, 11 o'clock tomorrow." And in that time, because Paul just kept moving shit while I'm trying to grab stuff. In that time, he managed to pin my right hand between two metal fucking. I don't even know what the fuck they were. They're like these weird metal fucking bins, but they're not like office cabinets or like metal boxes or a chest. They're like, I don't even know how to describe these fucking things, but they have spikes on one side so you can tack them to sheetrock so they don't move. And stupidly enough, the fucker decides to put both the pins sticking out of both sides. And I guess they're from like the 60s or some shit, which just shows you, thank God we don't live in the 60s in some regards. But I'm trying to grab it cautiously without hitting one of these fucking spikes. What's he do? He pushes it right into my fucking hand. So it pins my fucking hand. I get fucking spiked right through right in the fucking back of my knuckles and in my fucking palms. And I just, yeah, as anybody would know, if you got fucking stabbed in the fucking hand with a thumbtack, you'd scream. You'd yell out in pain and anger because it fucking hurts. What's Paul's response? Oh, what are you yelling about? And then once he realizes, oh fuck, I just pinned this dude's hand in spikes, he goes, "Well, why didn't you tell me your fucking hand was there?" Paul, you just fucking told me to fucking grab it. You just told me to fucking grab one of these goddamn fucking bins. The fuck do you think I was doing? I'm grabbing one of your fucking bins so I can put it in the fucking truck. Why the fuck are you pushing it? What is so goddamn important that you need to move two of these bins out of your way while you have your worker that you hired trying to move it? Well, I wouldn't quit. I did not quit that day, Sten, and I have not quit this day because I'm a fucking idiot. So I get done with that day. This morning I wake up, it's 10:30. I wake up at 10:30 in the morning. My whole sleep schedule's been fucked. I usually wake up around between 4 and 4:30 and I go to work. Like that's how I've been doing all year. All year round this year. I wake up around 4:30, I have a cup of tea, and then I go for work. And so practically this entire fucking month I have been waking up at all different fucking hours of the day. If not, I haven't slept at all. I didn't sleep for 4 fucking days earlier this week because of how fucking stressed out and exhausted I was. And I just pushed myself beyond like time to sleep mode into time to stay awake mode. So I was dealing with insomnia. And so I just wake up at 10:30 in the fucking morning and I'm like, I just don't want to go to fucking work. I just like I had to mentally and physically propel myself off of the bed and put on my clothes and get ready to walk to the restaurant so that I can work with Paul hauling shit from the Vietnamese dude because we still have like 5 truckloads, which is again, he's fucking lying to me again. So what happens today? Well, we unload as soon as I get there, which was I got there at 11:30. He tells me to wait for 10 minutes, which turns into half an hour. So I start work at 12. Then we start working and we go right to the fucking warehouse where he's dropping all the shit off. We unload it and then we drive all the way to the south end of the city to see this guy named Steve. Okay. Tells me to get out of the truck and it's fucking cold out. It was like 10 degrees today and fucking windy as shit and it felt like -5, I think. The weather was saying it was like -5 wind chill or -10. It was fucking frigid out. Tells me to walk out in this fucking windy, cold ass day all the way up to a door and fucking buzz it to try and get Steve to see if Steve's there. Place is closed. Place is fucking closed. It even said, and as I'm walking back to the truck to tell him they didn't respond, it's probably closed. There's a fucking sign that says closed for the holidays. And I climb into the truck and I'm like, Paul, they're closed. And he goes, what do you mean by that? How do you know they're closed? I'm like, Paul, there's a big fucking sign right there. And he looks and he sees it. And he's like, well, how was I supposed to know? And it's like, Paul, it's a big fucking sign that says closed for the holidays. It's like a billboard size, like one of the small billboards that you see in like fronts of buildings and shit. Probably the size of a door. Closed for the holidays. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. This man is he is just a straight cunt. So we start driving around the city looking for Steve. We go to like 3 different warehouses. Paul keeps asking him where he is. We stop for lunch because Paul's hungry, which actually allowed me to eat for once because I don't eat when I'm working for Paul. He does not allow me to have a lunch break or anything. So I get something to eat. I eat. And then as we're fucking looking for him, we finally get a call from him. So we go to the warehouse he's at. And this dude deals with bulk clothing. T-shirts, sweaters, pants, socks, hats, gloves, shoes. You name it, he's probably got it. Paul wants 2 pallet loads of shirts. That's the whole reason why we spent 4.5 hours. We drove around for 4.5 hours doing nothing. Doing nothing. 4.5 hours looking for a guy so Paul could get 2 pallets worth of fucking t-shirts. And then he could put them in the back of the fucking truck. But then he tells me, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna go see that fucking stupid chink tonight. We're gonna pick up the rest of my stuff and we're gonna load up the blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, as soon as you said that as soon as you became a fucking racist, I'm zoning you the fuck out." I just kept going, "Yep, yep, yep, right. Oh, okay, yep, Like if I start doing that during a conversation and it's like, and you can obviously pick up on like he's not like listening. He's willfully like he is intentionally ignoring me and just responding to think so that I think he is. You did something. You done goofed. You done goofed to the point where I'm like, I have no interest in fucking talking to you right now. So we go to this warehouse. Paul tells me he'll be out in 10 minutes. He comes back an hour later. The entire time I can hear someone loading shit onto the truck, and I'm like, "Oh, fucking here we go." He'll he makes a deal with Steve. He'll haul 20 fucking pallets worth of clothes to another warehouse Steve works at and partially rents out so he can offload it. And by he offloads it, he means I offload it with a pallet jack. So I pull all the fucking pallets off the fucking truck, and oh, as soon as I'm fucking done, and this is what set me off today. This is the thing that made me fucking go ballistic internally. I didn't flip out on Paul. I didn't lash out at him. I didn't scream. I didn't holler. Didn't do a fucking thing. I just sternly stared him down and then walked the fuck out and smoked a cigarette. I get done. Steve politely asks me, close the door to the warehouse and lift the ramp. I lift the ramp. I lock it into place so it's not hanging off the back end of the fucking truck. I close the truck's door. I close the warehouse door. And as soon as I'm done and I turn around, Paul goes, "Yep, got me one good worker for the next 5 weeks." Steve then goes, "Do you think you could have him help me out in for 5 days?" And Paul says, "Sure, he's my best worker. Just let me finish moving out my stuff at that chink's place." And in the back of my head, I'm sitting there going, 5 weeks. You didn't even fucking ask me if I want to work another 5 fucking weeks for you. And not only that, you are making deals behind my fucking back with people I was not asked directly from. Steve didn't ask me if I wanted to work for him for 5 days. Steve didn't ask me if I could help him out with anything. No. He's making deals with Paul to have me work for him for 5 fucking days. And Paul is taking assumption that I'm working for him now, not Donald. And you might think, oh well, he's just saying that because you said that you'd work for him for a couple weeks. No, because once I walk out and I sit and I finish my cigarette, get back in the fucking truck, and I sit there to stew in my sheer anger, Paul starts talking about, yep, he's below me when it comes to work. If I ask you for work and he asked you for work, you got to pick me. Like you're gonna be full of work since you're not working right now. So Paul thinks that I'm unemployed right now and I don't have a job, even though I was pawned off by Donald, who is my boss of my full-time job, to help out a friend for 2 fucking weeks. Paul has now got it in his fucking racist, fat piece of shit fucking mind that he owns me and that I'm his worker. I'm under his payroll. Nah. No. Nope. No. 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 It's all I kept saying in my head. No. Nope. I'm done. I'm fucking done. But it gets worse. Oh God, does it get worse. We finally get to the fucking Vietnamese dude's warehouse. It's like 4 o'clock in the fucking afternoon. Again, pitch fucking black. Fucking icy winds blowing in my face. Thank God I wore a scarf today, and I'm covering up my face like a fucking makeshift baklava to keep my face warm. I'm hauling all this shit out. And again, we go through the same fucking thing as yesterday. Vietnamese guy and Paul having a fucking powwow. Racist Paul versus racist Vietnamese guy, because now he's fucking throwing out racist slurs. And I'm like, God, I don't want to fucking deal with this. God, I don't want to fucking deal with this. And I'm hauling shit out. And I'm still stewing on the fucking shit he said not half an hour prior. I get all of this shit. All the shit I possibly could. But it. Paul starts yelling at the dude and telling him that he's taking me to court to be a witness. Then the fucking Vietnamese dude, who has not yelled at me, who's not raised his voice at me, who's not thrown any insults my way, just immediately starts lambasting me, fucking breathing down my neck, screaming about how I'm a lecherous fucking leech, and oh, I'm a fucking racist asshole as much as my boss, all kinds of shit. So what did I do? While I'm being screeched at, I'm being yelled at not just by Vietnamese guy. I'm being yelled at by Paul because I'm sitting there just staring at this fucking Vietnamese dude going, "The fuck are you doing, guy? The fuck are you saying? The fuck is your problem with me? Did I confirm that I'm going to court with Paul? Did I confirm anything? No. No, I got Paul yelling and screaming, telling me to fucking grab 6 mirrors and hauling them into the fucking back while he's visibly watching me get screeched and hollered at for no fucking reason. Because his fat fucking stupid racist fucking mouth had to open it up and fucking say, I'm taking him with me to court without even asking. Again, second day in a row, has not fucking asked me if I want to go to fucking court for him. Has not asked me to do anything. He has just told me to do things. That's it. I'm doing him a fucking favor, and I gave him an inch. He has taken a mile. So what did I do? Well, the only thing I could do at the moment, because I just could not fucking stand it, and I didn't want to scream and holler at this Vietnamese dude and have the cops called on me, because I'm sure as shit the dude would call the cops on me, because I'd probably start strangling him out of sheer frustration before once his body collapsed from lack of oxygen, I would proceed to slowly Michael Myers my way all the way to Paul and slowly strangle him until he lost consciousness. And then I would slowly walk out like Michael Myers out of the fucking building and go home so I could sleep, because that's how pissed off I was. I wanted to strangle and beat someone to near the just a red Irish cunt hair shy of a fucking of just death, just hanging by a thread to life. Couldn't do that though. Don't want to do that though. What I do, I threw, didn't gently place, didn't put aside. I threw all 6 antique mirrors as hard as I could into the back of that trailer and smashed every single fucking one of them when they hit the back wall. And as soon as Paul heard that and came out and said, the fuck just happened, I was already 15 feet away from the truck, walking out of the fucking parking lot. I'm done. Told him, I'm done. Done for the day. Clock me out. And I just walked home. I'm not going to court for him. I'll go, I will specify this. I will go to work for him tomorrow. And if he even, and I'm sure he will have me work, I'm going to specify tomorrow that it is my final day working for him. It is my final day working for him. I will be working the last day, maybe 2, maybe fucking 2. I may give him a day. I may give him an extra fucking day to repay the costs of 6 junky fucking mirrors. But I am working until the end of the month. That's it. I'm not working. I'm not working Sunday for him. That's New Year's Eve. I'm going back to work for Donald the day on the 2nd, because New Year's is on the 1st, and I'm telling Paul this. And if Paul doesn't like it, Paul can go fuck himself. If he complains about how, oh, we still haven't finished painting the apartment, I'm going to tell him, oh well. Oh well. I asked you for a fucking drill gun or a screwdriver fucking for days, and you never got me one. Still have those metal poles to take out of it. You haven't done a fucking thing for that. He tried telling me that a carpenter was going to come in and put carpet down 2 days before I finished painting the ceiling. I painted the ceiling. There's no carpet on that fucking apartment floor. Nothing. Not a goddamn fucking thing. So I told him. So I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him flat out. Go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna work for you anymore. I'm losing. I am losing money. And oh boy, am I losing money. One of the things he told me while driving around was some days I'm going to get fucked, and some days you're going to fuck me, but it's going to equal out. That's what he told me. Then he goes on to say, some days I'm going to be able to pay you $10 an hour like you're getting from Donald. Some days I'm going to have to pay you a little less. Like hauling stuff. You're going to be driving around a lot with shit in the truck. So I'm not going to pay you $10 an hour. Because a small amount of that time is driving to and from the place you're working. And I'm sitting in the back of my head going, I better get $10 fucking an hour for minimum for hauling fucking shit out. What? I'm going to haul fucking 3 trailer loads by myself and get $8 an hour for it? No. No. I'm not going to get paid 50 cents more than fucking federal minimum. No. Especially for this. I have never heard of a warehouse job paying $7.50 minimum. Never. Never in all my fucking life. Never in my fucking life. Fucking hate it. Also, apparently, I'm missing out on the greatest fucking 2 weeks of work at Donald's. Tree work. Kent, who I praise as often as I can when I talk about him, or if somebody asks me about him, I have praised him on this show. This vlog fucking rambling series. Ken is one of the best fucking people at Donald's. What does my father tell me when he calls me the other day? You know, Ken's been asking about you, right? He keeps telling Donald he needs you to help him work with wood because you're the fastest splitter he knows. You're the best fucking person he's ever seen working a tree job here at the shop. Scott's been asking about you because Scott had tree jobs to do, and he told me you'll be the first person on the list I'm going to ask to help me. You'll get $20 an hour. Huh, boy, I'm missing out on $20 an hour. Fucking doing something I love to do, being a woodsman. So I can help a fat, ugly, fucking stupid racist haul junk and put it somewhere else. Haul it out of one warehouse floor and put it in another warehouse floor. Wow. Wow. Just gotta slow clap that one. Just the sheer irony. Apparently, also everybody's been working till 5 in the afternoon. Because it's the end of the year. And Donald apparently is getting everything he possibly can get done by the end of the year so that if it snows January and February, he won't have to have people divided up doing things. Most of his people will be sanding and plowing the roads because that's what he does during the winter. And then he'll have maybe 2-3 guys on call if there's a tree job. Like if a tree goes down during the wind or a blizzard or something, and somebody calls him and says, hey, my tree fell down into the road or into my lawn or into my house, I need it cut up. He'll send the 3 people to cut it up, throw it into a truck, and haul it out. And apparently, for what my father has said, apparently Donald put me as one of the fucking people. And Kent's one of the people, and Scott's the other one. So that means Kent, me, and Scott are the ones that are going to be doing tree jobs during storms this winter. And we'll be getting $20 an hour because most of the jobs we'll be doing is state jobs. And well, it's been fucking windy recently, and a lot of trees have gone down in like the last 2 weeks. It seems like the trees were like, oh, thank God, Darth's not here to fucking hack us up into little fucking flammable bits. Darth's not here. He's been hacking up our kind for many a season. Oh well, I guess we'll just fall over now. We won't have to worry about him for 2 weeks. Watch, there's not going to be when I get done when I get done tomorrow or Saturday, depending on how fucking things go tomorrow. Like, not going to be a single fucking tree that falls all season. I bet you that. I bet there'll be a trees. I'll stipulate that there will be trees that fall, but nobody will call Donald to have them removed. That'll be the case. That'll be the case. I bet you, because that's just my fucking luck. Oh, God. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. I hate my life so much right now with what I have to deal with. Why? Why have you forsaken thee? Why has God forsaken thee? God. I just can't. I just I just can't. Fuck. All right. So now that I've vented some of my frustration out, because I'm still frustrated at this, some good stuff that has happened recently. Stellaris. Um, so since my sleep schedule has just been completely eviscerated to the point where it's almost non-existent at times, I've been playing Stellaris a lot. Uh, between 10 to 12 hours a night for like the last 4 nights, 5 nights. I think I started playing Stellaris again like 2 days before Christmas, and then I just kept playing it and playing it and playing it every night from like, I don't know. I think it was Christmas Eve. I woke up at like 1 in the afternoon. No, no, that wasn't it. I think it was no. What day was it that I didn't work for? No, it was the day after Christmas. Yeah, it was Tuesday. I didn't work for Donald. I didn't work for Paul Tuesday. I finally passed out after Christmas. Got really drunk. Woke up at like 2 in the afternoon. No, 1 in the afternoon. Had something to eat and drink, and then I sat my ass down here at the desk and I played Stellaris from like 2 in the afternoon till 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. And I've just been doing that since. Like playing till 2 in the morning and then knocking out. Except for last night. Last night I played from like, let's see, I got home. It was like 5:30 ish, almost 6. I played from around that time till like 6 in the morning. And then I fell asleep and woke up fucking like 3 hours later, and I was like, I don't want to go to work. So I've been playing a lot. And I've been playing an Iron Man mode game, which means you cannot save the game. It is auto saved almost every month. Uh, it starts to change as the game goes forwards, I guess. It's been a while since I played an Iron Man mode game. Plus, there's been so many patches and updates, like it's been hard to keep track. But now it's by mid game, yeah, by around mid game and into late game, it starts auto saving every 3 months or so. At least for me, it was doing that. Like every few months, it started doing it. And then every 6 months, it started auto saving only. And yeah, uh, got I repaired the automated dreadnought. I killed a fucking oh god, what is it? I forget. Space fucking space horror, whatever the fuck it is. Basically, it's a Cthulhu monster from another dimension that floats around a black hole. And then I dealt with the Traveler from Destiny at the Gargantua fucking black hole from Interstellar, and it created a new universe. So I got those three special events with the Leviathans dealt with. Uh, didn't see an enigmatic fortress, which is another one. Didn't see the ether drake, or the yeah, I think it's the ether drake. Uh, no spectral wraith, which is a weird blue jellyfish thing. That's one I've never seen. And then there's a stellarite devourer, which is a giant fuck off spider, like energy spider that devours suns. Those two I have not seen in game. So I'm gonna have to play another Iron Man mode game to try and kill those so I can get the achievements. Uh, and then I have to do the ether drake so I can kill it and then hatch the egg. Uh, Pretty complex alien race wise. I'm playing as the Imperium of Man, using the humanoid ships from the humanoid pack. They are hideous looking. There's only a few that actually look good. Those are the frigates, and the transport ship. The space stations are all right. That's it. Yeah, and destroyers kind of. Destroyers are okay, I guess. But cruisers look hideous and battleships look hideous. They just look like giant bars of fucking soap, like silvery bars of soap. The colony ship looks hideous. Uh, the science ship looks weird. In all honesty, I would probably use the humanoid ships for like a Necron race. Uh, but I've been dealing with that horrible fucking thing, and I haven't changed it. Like you can change things cosmetically or mod things cosmetically, and it won't fuck up the achievements in Solaris in an Iron Man mode game. I'm just too cautious. I'm too far into the game, and I've got like 6 more achievements I'm going to unlock, so I don't want to deal with it. Also, I found a uh, ruined Ring World, Science Nexus, and Sensor Array, which are the three big major mega structures you can build besides a Dyson sphere. Uh, that's glitched in my game for some reason. It's supposed to be repairing. I'm repairing the science nexus because I want science output. Even though I've fucking researched everything and I'm doing doubles and triples now. But it said that it was going to take 2,600 days to complete. Okay, 2,600 days. That's maybe little more or less between 7 to 8 years in game. Okay, I'm going to be just sitting around fucking staring at everything and watching paint dry while I'm waiting. It just keeps saying 2517. 2,517 days. And then as the days in game are rolling by and ticking, it'll go 2516, 2517, 2516, 2517. And it just keeps staying that way. And every time I look at it, the date it's supposed to finish the repairs moves up 2-3 years. I discovered it and started repairing it in let's see, 2309. I think it was 2309. It had to have been 2309 or 2311, the year. That has to have been the year, because I signed an armistice or a ceasefire with one of the alien xeno races that I'm fighting. Uh, we signed it, and the armistice slash ceasefire or truce would end in 2317. In 2317 or 2319 was when when I could declare war again. Also, Sen, here's the fucked up thing: once you start doing a megastructure, you can't cancel. You can't cancel repairs. You don't send a ship into repair. You just look at if it's in your territory and you've surveyed the whole system. You just click on the megastructure and click repair, and then it'll just have a timer. It's the same thing as terraforming. Terraforming's the same thing. Like, I started terraforming 12 planets inside my borders to expand and bulk them up so they'd be the border strength would be stronger. And then I'm discovering in the eastern fringe of the galaxy, there's like 12 systems with habitable worlds. So I'm like, well, I just fucking wasted all like 5,000 energy per planet, and it's gonna take like 1,700 fucking days for each planet to terraform. And I could just easily just do this. So now I have 17, like 12 worlds fucking being terraformed, and they all got terraformed. I've made sector own 2/3 of the galaxy just through fucking because well, I have completely destroyed and killed all the minor empires that apparently just did not want to expand as fast as the other two fuckers were. One of them is the Principality of something or other, which is a weird it's the weird blue people, the blue alien opera singer from Fifth Element. That's what they look like. They're like these materialistic egalitarians. They're oh god. They're freedom fighters, but not freedom fighters in like the sense most people think. They're like hardcore liberal Democrats. Like they want all empires to be democratic and uber liberal and all about science and whatnot. And so that's one I'm fighting. And they're right on my borders. And they've got ha, God, they have rapid breeder. And when I first discovered them, I had six planets in a sizable radius of an empire border, and I'm like, ha, 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 I'm doing pretty good for 60 years. I've already got battleships researched. I'm waiting for my engineering to fucking finish researching so I can get the battleship shipyard upgrade so that I can increase the production of them. I've almost completely maxed out my weapons because I have my build's kind of broken in some sense, in the sense that engineering is just completely. I just chew through engineering shit because what you can do in the game is, and for some reason my emperor always has uh oh god, deep connections. I think that's the one, like deep connections or whatever it is. Basically, you get a +1 influence. So you start off the game with +3 influence. So, and you have a pool of up to 1,000 is the cap for influence cost. And use influence to colonize planets. That's the cost for it. You have to pay a certain fee of influence. If it's in your borders, it's like a minimum of 50. But if it's like halfway across the galaxy, it's going to cost you like 300-400, sometimes more. You also use influence to build frontier stations to expand your borders, shit like that. And then there's edicts and stuff like that for planets, like re-education campaigns, propaganda broadcasts, farming subsidies. That stuff costs influence because it lasts like 10 years. And you can upgrade that through research so it extends it longer. Well, for whatever reason, my emperor always starts off with a trait that gives him an extra +1 to production of influence. So I start off the game, most games, with a +4 instead of a +3. So what do I do with that +1? Well, I use the policy edict engineering grants, which increases engineering by like 10%. It's like 10, 15%, maybe more. I think it's like a +20%. And I think and like, it's a pretty insane buff because I remember, like, oh God, I had a level 1 scientist as an engineer in engineering, and just him alone, because he had Spark of Genius, which gives you a +10 to research speed, and him being level 1, that's a that's a +1, so that's +11 speed. The sheer amount of engineering I kept finding in all the systems, which is insane. I have almost 900, over 900 engineering. Everything, the other two sciences, society and physics, are like in the 500s. Plus, I have natural engineers as a species trait, so that's another like +10% to engineering. So now he's at +21. When I popped off engineering grants, it went to like +56%. So there's a +56% research speed for that, while the other two, physics and society, were like +5 or +6. So I was just chewing through engineering shit nonstop, and every game I have ever played, I always constantly find engineering science. So again, like 60 years in, I had researched battleships. I had researched most of the weapon upgrades to the point that I was just waiting to get Gauss weapons level 5 missiles. I was waiting for fucking physics so I could get photon torpedoes, and I think it's neutronium torpedoes, which are the best torpedoes in the game. Like, just dealing with all kinds of shit like that. And so once I had done that, I was stuck. I was stuck. There were no other planets to colonize. But I'm thinking to myself, hey, I think I'm doing pretty fucking good 60 years in when I've already got battleships. I'm almost maxing out everything in in my research. All right, I think that's fair. And until I discover the Principality, and the Principality has like 21 worlds, and they have over 200 pop. And I have 6 worlds, and I'm still dealing with migration issues with fucking people migrating off my fully colonized worlds to go to these other colonized worlds. And I've got like 50, 50 to 60 pop. Not a lot. And so thus began a Cold War in which I was a rival to them and they were a rival to me. So I got another +1 to influence. I'm building fucking frontier stations as fast as I can because I have the Ascension, the Unity perk, which halves their influence maintenance cost, because it costs you half an influence per frontier station with that perk. Cost a lot. So I'm placing down all these fucking frontier stations. I'm building up military stations. I'm trying to expand as fast as I can. I'm researching into terraforming so I can terraform worlds. And then comes the first fucking conflict between these fuckers. And all of us had hyper lanes. So we could only go through lanes that were connected to certain star systems, which I love about that because then it gives you chokehold points. So you can hold sections of the galaxy. You can effectively cut off the galaxy like an entire spiral arm from the rest of the galaxy if you play your cards right and you build the right defenses. So I built fortresses in the choke point that bridged our two warring, like, we don't like each other empires. And there was a space of 6 systems, and there was one hyperlane between two of these systems that connected. I built nothing but fucking fortresses on both of them. It was literally the oh god, the it was the twin towers or whatever it fucking is from Game of Thrones that the Freys own, which is, it's just a giant fuck off bridge that connects the north to the south. So I just block it off. I then build three battle fleets because I'm the Imperium of Man. I build 3 battle fleets. Battle Fleet Solar, because Sol is the home system, because I use the Sol system, which is the solar system, and Battle Fleet Solar is the fleet that keeps a watchful eye over Holy Terra and the God Emperor of mankind. Then I built a forge world called Agrippina, which is another planet. I have a whole notebook of planetary systems from 40K. I have forge worlds, imperial worlds, agri worlds, fortress worlds, chapter worlds. Uh, I have ship class names, because I know the differences between the ships in 40K, so I can be like, oh, okay, I need to build an anti torpedo ship or an anti missile ship, so I'll build the Macarius class corvette or the Macarius class destroyer. Um, and then I have all kinds of things. So when I play the game, I designate certain planets to certain things. So Holy Terra is Holy Terra, and basically your starting planet would essentially be an imperial world. It has some food to keep the pops happy. I usually remove them after I have agri worlds or agricultural worlds. That's what agri world means. But like once I have agri worlds built up to the point that I have massive food surplus, I just completely dissolve and demolish all food buildings on imperial worlds. And most imperial worlds have 2 goals, three production caps that I set: energy credits, minerals, but most especially energy credits. That's where my income's coming from, because energy credits are basically the cash of Stellaris, but their main focus is energy credits. Their second big focus is troops. Then comes minerals. So every Imperial world I have is just built out to produce the most amount of energy credits, the fastest amount of production of troops, and they are usually the largest worlds I have, because the bigger your planet is, and the planets go from 5 to 25, and every number in between 5 and 25, whatever that number is the cap for your planet's armies. So if you have a planet that has 25 for a pop for an army pop, that means you can place down 25 you can build 25 armies before they start going into space and sitting in transport ships to go to another planet where they can stay. So usually the largest planets are designated imperial worlds, unless they have a lot of food. Like if there's a lot of food on it, then okay, that's an agri world. Agri worlds, again, they're, as the name entails, they just produce food. I make enough energy credit production on the planet and enough mineral output on the planet so that it's not going into the fucking red for my cash, but I max the fuck out on food. I also specialize the space stations that guard the worlds, depending on what they are. Now, forge worlds are straight mineral production, science production, and ship production, along with troop production. They are the military heart of my imperial planets. And so Agrippina is one of them. Agrippina and Baca. Those are two other planets from 40K. Agrippina is a forge world, and so I put Corvette, destroyer, cruiser, and battleship shipyard standardized shipyard traits onto it. I also placed down uh, crew quarters, maintenance, protocols, and then synchronized defenses or targeting or whatever. Basically, the cannons it boosts cannons and like the attack speed and fire rate of the guns on a fortress or space station that's floating over the planet. And the crew quarters gives you a minus 10% to ship upkeep, so they cost 10% less when they're floating over the planet. And the maintenance one increases the speed of repairs and also adds a minus 5% to ship upkeep. So my fleets cost minus 15%, or they're 15% less to keep maintenance up on. And then some of the worlds I'll place down instead of like the maintenance one, I'll plop down a fucking fleet admiral. So that's what I usually do. So I build up Battlefleet Solar, Agrippina, and Baca on the planets that they are named after. So I then send all three of these fleets. They're roughly around 10K, 15K each. I am well over my naval capacity. Very well over it. But because of the way I've built up the 6, 7 worlds I have and the massive amount of resources I have, it's fine. I have a fuck ton of minerals coming in and I have a fuck ton of energy coming in. So it's fine. My key goals are defend my borders and try and find a way to expand them by colonizing. Well, I did one of those things. Give me a second. Okay. So, what did I do? I successfully defended the Imperium of Man from a filthy invasion. The Principality and I, we just we're just two sides of the same coin. We just can't get along. We can't. We just can't. We just can't, man. We just can't. So we have a scuffle. We have a little spat. Thus begins a 50-year-long campaign. A 50-year-long campaign where I am defending against enemy Xeno fleets and then pushing in and attacking and so on and so forth. And you get a war score. Your war demands during the war cost points. So when I demanded that two of the so what my plan was, because they like ocean worlds, they have an ocean preference. That habitability, ocean worlds have a 70% habitability for my humans because they're continental, and Earth's a continental planet. So I was like, I got it. I'm going to cleanse all their entire race off of a few planets, and then I'm going to immediately jump in and colonize those worlds. That is how I'll expand. Well, it costs like 12 points per cleansing. Some of them more, some of them less, depending on the population that needs to be cleansed and the distance, I guess, from the distance or the advancements on that planet and system. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And destroy their frontier stations because they had they were on the I was stationed at the very heart of the galaxy on one spiral arm, which was on the southern arm, and then they were on I was at the southern end of the galaxy galactic center. They were on the eastern side, and they had hopped over the spiral arm onto the one I'm expanding on. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll take those two worlds, and then I'll demand them to blow up their frontier stations, so their influence will go back onto their spiral, their arm, which means that I won't have any fucking problems with trying to steal their planets. I'll just rename them. And in that 50-year conflict, I got a 7% war score because it was just nothing but constant. Oh, well, I'm just going to sit here with my fleets and just keep swapping them out and rotating them. Oh, hey, Battlefleet Solar lost like 6 frigates. Just send it back and build more. Like, repair the ships that got damaged. Let the fucking shields repair and recharge, and then build some new fucking ships to replace the ones that just got blown up. So I got like a 7%. And one of my factions, because I'm a militarist, xenophobe, spiritualist empire, 3 ethics, because you have to choose ethics for your empire. I have 3 factions I have to deal with and manage, which are a militarist, a xenophobic, and a spiritualist faction. And so the militarists want war. If you have a war going on and you have rivalries going on, they're happy, which will give you influence. So I was making like a 1.2 from them because I was at war and I had a rivalry. The xenophobic people don't want any immigration policies. They want to stay pure, and they want a human emperor or empress. And I was doing fine with that, and I was trying to subjugate an empire. So I'm getting like a 0.5 because they're happy. So I'm getting a 0.5, like half an influence point from them. And then the spiritualist empire, it's just be religious. So I'm building temples, religious temples all on every planet. I'm outlawing robots because I don't want a fucking AI uprising. Um, so on and so forth. And they're giving me like a 1.8 in influence. So I've got like 3.5 influence going on. So what do? I start searching left and right trying to find fucking planets. Because once I find a planet that I can colonize, I'm popping a frontier station on it. And then once that influence grows and the station's built, I will then send a colony ship there and take it. But you might be asking, well, why don't you just fucking colonize it first instead of wasting all that time and resource? That way I can have it completely the entire system, all the systems around it built. All the mining, all the science, all the energy credits, everything, strategic resources, all of it. Take it now, build it up, and then I'll colonize. And then once the influence expands, because a planet's influence is bigger than a frontier station's is, once it's done, its fucking influence and border range will expand bigger than the fucking frontier station ever could. And so I don't have to waste half the fucking time going mapping out a queue order for the fucking construction ships. It's just sheer laziness on my part and convenience. It lets me go, okay, that construction ship's not idling, it's doing something. So I start searching around and I'm finding diddly. Straight diddly. And so after that, after I get 7% of a victory score or war score, I just don't really do anything. Like the war goes on for another 20 years and I'm just minding my own fucking business. I'm not doing anything. And that's when I find a 15 pop cap or tile cap uh, Gaia world, which will make the spiritualist happier because we're going to be moving into a practically an Eden world or a Garden of Eden world. It's surrounded by 7,000K fleets of crystalline entities. Like one fleet, they have like 5 fleets on the Gaia world. One's 7K, one's 4K, one's 2K, one's 5K, and one's 8K. Like there's a fuck ton of fucking like a combined total of at least 50, like 25,000. So that would mean I'd have to send in all my battle fleets to fucking try and take them out. And it spawned right next to the heart of the problem of crystalline entities, which was the giant fuck off base. And that was the system right over. And I'm like, nah, I want to colonize you. I really do. But you're more of a hassle. Then I met up with the artisan troop, which are like these aliens that sell you art and shit, and they can give you some buffs to your empire. I signed on as a patron. I encountered 2 merchant guilds. One of them was dwarves. So I'm like, oh hey, it's the squats from 40K. Can do. So I start trading with them, and I get mutagen crystals, which up my habitability by 5%, which helped out a little bit. Means my people are going to be happier. And then the other one had some kind of mutagen gel or goo or paste or whatever, and that one or dust, and that one made people happier. Or no. It upped my governing ethics by 15%, because usually I'll pop off propaganda broadcasts, which is a policy edict, which ups your policy, governing ethics. So people aren't going to become authoritarians, and you're not going to have micro factions cropping up where they're going to be like, we want to own slaves, or we want peace, like pacifists. Because the ethics are militarist, pacifist, authoritarian, egalitarian, materialist, spiritualist. And I think those are the 6 ethics. Basically, each one is opposite. Like, a militarist is the opposite of a pacifist. An egalitarian is the opposite of an authoritarian. And a materialist, which is basically a scientific fucking thing. You build robots and you're all about science, is the opposite of a spiritualist empire, which, is a religious empire. So I didn't want pacifists. I didn't want none of those fucking space hippies, and I didn't want any fucking people going, we want to build the Iron Men. Like, Holy Terra dealt with the Iron Men. It was awful, the dark age of technology. And I didn't want no authoritarians. Like, we don't enslave aliens. We exterminate aliens. We cleanse them and purge them from the galaxy. So I usually deal with that by just upping the governing ethics attraction. So I got that. And so that's going okay. Like I'm making like 700-800 minerals at this point, because I keep expanding with my board. Like, my borders just keep expanding for some fucking reason. I still don't know why. Like, I didn't research the plus 20% border expansion rate. I didn't take the unity perk of attaching yourself to the supremacy tree tree of traits, which automatically gives you, I think, like a 15% or 25% border range expansion. And I didn't take the ascension perk, which gives you like a 50% or however much it is, or 20%. So I didn't take any of the border range ones. But for some reason, my borders just kept expanding without me putting down frontier stations or colonizing. So as I keep colonizing, I keep finding systems that have 15 minerals, 20 minerals, 10 minerals, 11, 12, 17. I'm finding a fuck ton of energy credits that I can mine on distant star systems. A fuck ton of engineering and physics and society research on other planets. I found Pithrin dust, Teldar crystals, which up kinetics. Pithrin dust is a strategic, and that's a strategic resource, by the way. Excuse me. Pithrin dust is a strategic resource that ups your food output by 10%. Urantic crystals up laser tech weapons by 10%. What else did I find? I found Zero. I found Living Metal, which is an incredibly badass and really good resource, along with Zero. Zero ups your sensors and FTL recharge time by 50%, which is really fucking good, especially once you get jump drives. So I'm making a fuck ton of minerals. So what did I keep doing? Um, I'm just going to keep selling 2,000 minerals to get 1,000 energy credits just constantly. So I have a fuck ton of energy credits because I don't need all these minerals. I kept capping because, there's not much I can build because I've built everything I can in my borders at this point. And I just hate the fucking notification going, oh, hey, look at this. You've got 32K of minerals and you're not spending any of it. And it's like, all right, well, I'll just sell fucking 12K of the fucking things. So I just kept doing that with each of them, and I just upped their happiness and their opinion of me to cap, which is 100%. And so 10 years go by, and finally I was like, fuck this. I'm going to attack that Xeno fucking principality fucking empire. Fuck them. So I declare war on them after 10 years when the truce ends. And bam, they send in almost a 30K fleet against my 15K fleet, and they nearly decimate the damn thing. I had just started building fortresses in one of the worlds, which was near the, and I do not say this. This is not a joke. I did not name this star system. It is an actual star system in the game, and it's a reference. I had just built 4 fortresses, two systems away from the Covfefe system, which was in Principality space, by the way. The Covfefe system was theirs, not mine. I was just 2 systems away in the chokehold point. I had just finished building 4 fortresses, and they surrounded every possible thing. So as soon as you jump into the system, you're going to be hit by at least 2, if not 3, of these fortresses at once. And and I had 2 types of fortresses. One of them has mines. The other one has anti-grav wells or gravity wells. So it takes longer to retreat. Yes, there is. Yes, they actually did a reference to Trump's fucking tweet flub. I also have the Zeta Reticuli system in my borders now, which is where the grays are supposed to come from. What else do I have? Fuck. There's another fucking one that I remember. I'm like, oh, that's a fucking stupid fucking reference. Can't remember it. So I just built these 4 fortresses. They jumped in. If I had not built those 4 fortresses, they would have smashed through Battlefleet Agrippina, which is my pirate hunting fleet, by the way. I kept Battlefleet Solar and I kept Battlefleet Solar over Holy Terra because I don't want them taking my home system. And Battlefleet Baka was on the fringes of my borders, and Battlefleet Agrippina was right on the borders between the Principality and me. So there is Omicron Persei. There is that. I still every time I find it, I do not find Omicron Persei 8 in the system. It's usually usually like 4 planets or 6 planets, never 8. Which I'm always hoping, hey, I hope I get to see Omicron Persei 8 in this. But I was sending out Battlefleet Agrippina to wipe out pirate fleets that just kept fucking floating around in my space, so I couldn't place down anything because they kept just harassing me, killing space amoebas, wiping out fucking void clouds and crystalline objects and shit like that. And so I'm just dealing with this as I go. I had a cultist special project I had to deal with, which was a storyline where basically a secret New World Order / Illuminati resistance group within my governmental ranks rose up finally to rebel. And they discover an alien factory or space station that's building really powerful Xeno ships, and they're using them to fight me. And so you board the cultist ships in your home system or whatever system it takes place in when it starts. You board the ship, you find out that, oh, hey, there's 3 systems that you need to search. Also, hey, Frank, but there's 3 systems you need to search for the cultists. And so you go to each one and you fight cultists, and then you finally use all 3 of their data or black box data on their ships, I guess, to triangulate where the capital ship is, where like the main cultists are. And once you blow up that ship, they jump before you can actually take the ship. And so they jump to a factory where the space station that they're building this shit, and then you blow them up. So I was dealing with that too at the time. And so I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I need planets. Like it's been like Christ. I was building battleships for God's sakes. I'm like, I need fucking planets. I need to colonize. I need to spread the Imperium of Man further into space so I can take more territory. I need more resources. I want to build more ships. I'm fucking bleeding energy credits at this point because I'm building up cruisers and stuff. So I declare war on them. They jump in and they nearly wipe out Battle Fleet Baka because I had Agrippina like halfway across my borders fighting the cultists. So I was like, send in Battle Fleet Baka. So Baka jumps into the fucking system, and I think it was like the Wamil system or something like that. They jumped from the Kafefe system, and if I had not put down those 4 fortresses, they would have eviscerated Baka, and they would have just started moving towards my colonized worlds. I pull Baka out of there and have them retreat, and then I send in my main fleet, Battle Fleet Solar. Battle Fleet Solar goes in, and we start fucking having our little love spat together again. We smash their fleet, and we immediately get I think a 9% victory for our war score, which again I've just now done like, oh well, they're expanding more into my fucking ring and beyond and closer towards the edge of the galaxy. Cleanse all of those, and then I'll just take them because now I know where they are. So I start moving and I start moving and I start moving and I'm pushing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing. So finally I start building. I had finally got an ascension perk. Now I had already gotten 2 of them. One of them was Imperial Prerogative, which gives you a +5 to your core world systems cap. So instead of, I think I was at oh Christ, I had researched 2 of the fucking researchable ones. So I had like I think it was at 8, and then with the +5, I got to a cap of 13. So I could have 13 planets without having to put sectors down to reduce my planet count. Because when you build sectors, that they take away planets that you own, and now they're part of your empire still, but they're run by a governor that's an AI. Basically, you just tell them like, hey, you can have it balanced production, so it produces both food, energy, minerals, and science, and all the sciences equally, or you can have it lean towards one. You can tell it to colonize within its sector if there's colonizable planets, so on and so forth. So I could have 13 planets without having to do that. Again, though, I'm at like 6 fucking planets. So I was expecting, hey, I'm going to find a bunch of colonizable planets. Okay, so second perk I took was border range. At this point, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'll just take the border range and push my borders further. Like keep them from taking my defensive like grid. I don't want them taking that bottleneck. Plus I want more borders so I can take more fucking resources I've been surveying. And Is everybody in? Is anybody out there? Not sure if anybody can hear me. Boy. Uh, fuck. I don't know why nobody can hear me. Again, I don't know. I'm probably going insane. Oh, wait, I'm already insane. Ooh wee. Awesome. Thank God. Thank God Sten can hear me again. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, basically I had I had an ascension perk I could take finally. So instead of taking my previous planned one, which was consecrated worlds, which it's like 100 years. Like 100 years, your planet is considered a holy world. I take that one because it's the Imperium of Man. All of their worlds are considered holy and sacred to mankind, and they're just religious fucking fanatics, space Nazis. So instead of taking that one first, I chose evolutionary manipulation or genetic manip. Basically, it allows you to get the gene seed purification research, and you can start genetically modifying species, even your own. So I take it and I finally research gene warriors, which are they're 40K space marines. Like gene seed purification is like a gene seed is something straight out of 40K. No, to this day I have not seen any other sci-fi thing talk about gene seeds unless they're making an homage or reference to 40K. So I make my Space Marine chapters. I make Space Marine legions, and we've finally been able to hold back the enemy tide. We've pushed them back into the Covfefe system. They're falling back to one of their own worlds to repair. I send in Battlefleet Baka because Battlefleet Baka has been repaired, and Battlefleet Solar was not really that damaged. Just shields were taken down, and a little bit of health was taken off of some of the ships. I send both in different directions. One's going to take one of the worlds closest, which is near the Covfefe system, and then the other one is going straight towards the chokehold where their main cluster of planets are, and they have a hyperdrive lane or a hyperspace lane that goes towards that lands right in the Covfefe system. So I put Baka on the Covfefe system, and I'm blockading it essentially. Nothing's going through this battle fucking fleet. Battlefleet Solar, on the other hand, is going to bombard the fuck out of something. And so I had already built up Imperial Guard legions or just assault armies. I like to think that they're all just Imperial guards and infantry. They're just here's a laser rifle that does diddly. Here's your flashlight, your knife that you'll stab demons in the face with and orcs, and here's your flak vest and little metal helmet. Have fun fighting 20-foot tall Xenos that could eat and spit acid. So we push through, we take out their defense grid on this planet, and you usually get a warning when you're going to invade a planet, being like, hey, you might not want to invade this planet because you're probably going to lose. Yeah. Um, I didn't see that notification because I was so fast. I was so quick to just be like, land them in, just land them in immediately. We punched through. We've been bombarding the planet for a year. I want to get these troops. I want boots on the ground before they send in another fleet from their their eastern flank or northeastern flank, because they had another hyperspace lane like 30 systems up from the Covfefe system. And so I was expecting them, if they weren't going to just keep sending out fucking fleets to try and smash into my into Battlefleet Baka, they would go the opposite route and they'd slowly work their way down, if not build fleets on that spiral arm and come down and try and take out Battlefleet Solar and prevent the invasion force from landing. So I bombarded the planet for like a year. I've knocked out 1,000 of its fortification points. And fortification points essentially negate a certain amount of damage from invading forces. So if you have a full fortification points, they're gonna do diddly. They're not gonna do a fucking thing unless they've just somehow miraculously they've just there's really no way you can feasibly do that. Usually the main strategy you should be following is bombard the fuck out of the planet until there's no fortification left, then invade. Well, I didn't really notice that much because I'm sitting there in a rush. So I rush in and I send in 30 legions. 30 Imperial Guard legions are sent into a fucking meat grinder campaign. They touch down. The assault armies, the defense armies, and the militia, because there's a potential militia that you get just from having pops if you don't build armies. They stick around the whole game as long as you still have that planet. But you can also build defense armies, which are completely designed to stay on the planet and defend it, and they get a big buff to defense. And then assault armies you can take off the planet to invade. So apparently they were building infantry to invade one of my systems. So I've sent in 30 legions and they just keep sending, like, I've capped out the amount of troops I can have on the planet's surface. So I have ships just sitting in the atmosphere, not in space. There's like a 3-tiered system to landing. So I have fucking ships just chilling, waiting to drop these troops down. And I'm like, ha ha ha, there's like 2,500 out of 4,000 fortification points left. And I'm on full bombardment, planetary bombardment, which only knocks down like 50 a month, or a certain, like, it's a really low number per month, like month. Takes a long time to bombard the fuck out of the planet. So I'm like, oh fuck me. Oh well. Go to Baka and Agrippina and all my other Imperial worlds, start building up more troops, start building more assault troops. We're just going to keep sending them in and just continuously fucking flooding it while I'm waiting for the gene seed purifications to finish researching so I can build these space marines and just drop them in and have the space marines take all the glory. Thus began the 20-year-long campaign of Jirag Noth. And I will remember that name for quite some time because I wrote down in my little notebook before I went to work, plan strategy for invasion of Jirag Noth. Because I was like, I'm not going to lose that system. Also, hey Jen, but I'm like, I'm not going to lose this system. Like, this is where the Imperium makes it or breaks it. If we can't take Jirag Noth in this fucking blitzkrieg offensive, where we held the line against a fleet twice our strength and pushed through, and now we've got a chokehold on the Covfefe system and Jirag Noth. Like, if we don't take this planet and show our dominance, we're done for. Because if we fail and they smash through Battlefleet Solar before I can have her retreat, and they smash through Battlefleet Baka, Battlefleet Agrippina is going to take weeks to get to a defendable position, and it's going to take months, if not a full year, to resupply my armies and my fleets. Plus, it takes a year per gene warrior. per Gene Warrior unit, it takes 360 days to make. It takes a long time to make a Gene Warrior. So I'm like, well, fuck. This is going to suck. So I'm just sending. So for 20 years, 15 of which I spent producing nothing but infantry to die by the millions. I don't care if there's no number tally for how many people are in an infantry army, like an assault army or defense army. I think it was millions. I think I sent hundreds of millions to their deaths to take a Xeno world for the Imperium of Mankind. And I am not ashamed to say that. I do not care. Like I did not feel one one ounce of maybe I should just like hold off until I bombard. I'm like, no, fucking send them in and keep sending them in. They'll drown in our blood eventually, or they'll run out of ammunition. God damn it. Send them in. Send the Imperial Guard in to die while we're waiting for the Space Marines to come and take all the glory. And so I finally researched the gene seed purification thing. So now I can build my Space Marines. And immediately I set up production for 5 Imperial hands, which are uh, the Space Marine chapter of Holy Terra. They're the ones that are in like the yellow. I think yellow and black is their colors. But if you ever see a yellow Space Marine, there and it's not the Angry Marines, it's the Imperial Fists. So I start producing Imperial Fists, and as soon as all 5 are done, which took, like I said, 5 years to do, I immediately sent them into the fucking fray. And you know what they did? They smashed through Juragnoth's fucking defenses and they wiped out their defensive armies. They killed all the assault armies that were still alive, surprisingly, and they killed all of the potential militia. They just straight up wrecked them. So I had to applaud and congratulate the Space Marine chapters for taking Juragnoth, taking a Xeno world, which upped my percentage. And I had already demanded that Juragnoth be cleansed once the war was over. If I won the war, that would be one of 6 worlds I demanded to be cleansed. So my 20-something year long campaign finally came to an end on Juragnoth. I now have like 20 fucking Imperial Guard infantry units or legions stationed on the planet to hold the line. And I also have 5 Space Marine chapters right there to hold the line. And there's already 10 more Space Marine Legion chapters or legions that I'm already fucking producing, not just on Earth or Holy Terra, but also on Agrippina and Baca. I am just rapidly producing as many fucking Space Marine chapters as I can so I can send them in to fucking just completely wipe out all opposition. We then move to the next planet because I did not have enough fleet strength. Like I'm over capacity as it is with 3 fleets. Battle Fleet Agrippina is currently dealing with some pretty aggressive space amoebas on my western fringes of my empire. Battle Fleet Baca is chilling in the Cafefe system, just wiping out small little frigates that just keep coming in and corvettes to see, like, is he still there? Yep, he's still. Oh, well, we just got blown up. So the Principality knew, like, I'm holding the Cafefe system. They're going to have to send in a massive fleet to try and push me back. There's no defenses. I can't build anything inside their territory. So it's just Battle Fleet Baca just floating around, just giant metal coffins just waiting to be blown up. And Battle Fleet Solar is hopping from system to system, blowing up their. I strategically chose which systems to destroy their resource production in. Most of it was science and minerals. Like energy credits, I could give 2 fucks about. Like you can't really build any. Like it doesn't cost you that much. Like if you, oh hey, they just blew up my energy credit production. Okay, I'm going to be running out of. I'm slowly losing money, and the less, like the more money I lose, the suckier it's going to be. But once you hit zero, you don't really lose anything. You don't lose ships. The ships don't, like, people don't walk away and be like, well, you can't pay us. Like, they're still there. Mineral costs, though. If you lose your mineral production, you can't build new mining facilities to produce energy credits. You can't, you need to spend minerals to build everything in the game. Like, that's the whole point of minerals. You need them to build ships. You need them to build fucking space stations, fortresses, the whole shebang. And yeah, some things will require energy, like like ships. Ships and I think armies cost energy and minerals, but that's about it. Everything else costs just a flat mineral base price. That's it. So I'm like, fuck it, destroy as much of their mineral output as possible. If we can cripple their mineral production, once they've lowered their mineral pool or their surplus to dangerously low levels, and they're making like half of what they were making before, like they won't be able to keep resupplying their armies or fleets and armies while I'm fucking moving through my holy crusade through their fucking heretical legions. So I hit another planet finally. I destroy through the fucking defensive fleet and her defenses, and I invade. This time though, I waited until it was like 3/4 bombarded, so it only had like 3 to 400 fortification left on the planet, and I sent in as many Imperial legions as possible. I was like, I am not going to lose a Space Marine chapter. Those puppies are like 400 a pop for mineral and energy. They are one of the, if not the most expensive, barring Titanic beasts. And Titanic beasts are like kaiju. You can get them on certain planets that have Titanic life on them, and you can only recruit 3. They're like Godzilla. You can have 3 Godzillas in your armies, and you can drop them onto planets, and they are incredibly powerful. But I didn't have a planet with that, so I couldn't do it. So Space Marines are the best, in my opinion. You don't need to know. Well, now you do. Now you need a special fucking ascension perk to get them. Before that fucking change, you could get them whenever you wanted. Like, I considered them the best. I could still consider them better than Psy Warriors or fucking uh yeah, just Psy Warriors, Titanic Beast, and Gene Warriors are the 3 top tier infantry or armies you can send out. I think Gene Warriors are the best out of all 3. You don't need a special before. Like before, you still needed the Titanic Beasts fucking or Titanic life modifier on a planet. And then you had to go through an insanely expensive scientific process of either killing and eating the species or communicating with them. Either way, you get Titanic Beasts to train or fucking rally as an army. That takes too long. Like, if you have a high enough society research output, bam, you can get Gene Warriors or fucking Psy Warriors. And Psy Warriors do more damage morale wise than Space Marines, but Space Marine like Space Marines do a fair amount of morale damage as it is. Plus, you can just plop on a fucking attachment for either clone commandos, which is really fucking good, or you can just plop down Psy Warriors, which works. Like, if you get Space Marines and then plop down a Psy Warrior attachment onto them, it works like like an actual 40k Space Marine chapter, because chaplains and librarians in 40 and oh god, I forgot the fucking name of them. I forgot the term for them. Basically, they're Space Marines that are psychers. They're psychic, and that's what Psy Warriors are. They're just psychic warriors. So chaplains and all that shit they're the psychers. Normal Space Marines aren't. So I would just, if I had Psy Warriors in the older version of the game, I just plop down Psy Warrior attachments right into my Space Marine legions and be like, I got my librarian attachment. So now they have their and tech priest. That's what it is. Tech priests. you have your tech priest and your apothecaries and all that, and just send them in. And not only do they do a good chunk of morale damage, which will cause the enemy forces to retreat or lose morale, which greatly debuffs them, but they do a fuck ton of damage normally. So so I'm doing my campaign and I'm pushing through, and I finally take this second world, and all goes silent. All goes really silent on the northeastern front. They are not attacking the Cafefe system, and after sending two Corvette, I just built two random red shirt Corvettes to just die. I sent them out. I send them in, and I send them to the other chokehold point. They haven't fortified that point, and I have them go through that point, and there's three big old fleets just chilling on the main three homeworlds of the Principality, Xenos. And I'm like, huh, they're not attacking me. They're not sending these fleets to defend their own. Filthy Xenos. So I send them in. So I send out Battlefleet Baka. And I'm like, it's your time. I've been repairing you by just simply sending you new ships. Whenever their one of their frigates, destroyers, or cruisers got blown up in a defense against in the Cafefe system, here's another ship. Fuck it. Like, your lives mean nothing to the God Emperor. You die in his glorious name. So I send Battlefleet Baka straight into the heart of the deep, deep territory and heart of this empire, and I plan to take their homeworld. Not to capture and not to hold, but if I take the homeworld and I hold it, that'll give me a big boost in war score, which will allow me to leverage them into an absolute surrender. So Battlefleet Baka does just that. I send it in, it starts smashing through their fucking defense. It takes about 5 to 6 years of constant conflict in space, in just space battles, to finally push towards their capital because they had defensive fortresses and stuff. I blow up their capital fleet. I get like a plus 11, almost it was like 11.6, 11.7 for the score for that 6 year long space battle. And then I start just bombarding the fuck out of their homeworld. So I bombard the shit out of it, and I send in 20 Space Marine units, and I plop them right down. And we take the homeworld. We took it. We lost half of the Space Marines, but god damn it, did we not win. And it jumped I think my score at that point was a 67 or a 77. So I forced them to purge 6 of their worlds and destroy their frontier stations. And then I proceeded to jump to each of their previously held planets that they just cleansed of their own species. Basically, I forced them to genocide whole populations. Once I did that, I jumped in and I took the planets. So I had 6 ocean worlds to my name. Well, 4 ocean worlds, and I think 2 tropical or 2 jungle planets. So I then moved. I disassembled some of my fortresses so I could you know not spend a fuck ton in maintenance on them because it was like 3 energy per fortress and I had like 6. So I knocked those off and I just moved them to the Cafefe system, and I moved them across where our borders were touching after I had taken some of their worlds, so that when they jumped in, they'd have to deal with a fortress or 2. And yeah, that's how the world was for a good 70, 80 years. And after that, I started going westwards, because I was not finding a single habitable world eastwards, all the way to the galactic rim. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go left. And that's where I found the automated dreadnought, the space, the horrific space Lovecraft monster, and the Traveler from Destiny. I dealt with the automated. I sent in Battlefleet Solar and Baka during this peacetime to take out the automated dreadnought. I beat it. I repaired it, and it's now the flagship of my fleet. And that one ship, that one automated dreadnought, has 8.7K in fleet strength just by its lonesome. So that was good. Um, I then started my terraforming started to work, so I started colonizing terraformed worlds and expanding my borders. Then I found fucking 12 systems after I started terraforming 12 other worlds in my borders because I wasn't finding anything. I started colonizing those 12 worlds. Then I finally started putting in sectors. I got the traveler to go into the black hole and create a new universe. So I got that achievement and a +5 to research speed, or a +10 in all fields. Plus, the black hole has a +10 in all three sciences as a resource. I killed the cosmic horror, which tapped a latent psychic gene in my people. So I have 15 humans out of like my 300 pop that are psychers. Um, and yeah, I started just cleansing the other galactic empires that were there in the western fringe the of the galaxy, just killing them one after another, taking their worlds if I could, purging those species. 'Twas very good. Now comes the new chapter in the Imperium's dark history. When I got the humanoids pack, I made three new races. I figured out how to make the Tau. I made orcs, 40K space orcs, and I made squats. I encountered the space orcs. They have 46 planets in their name, and they have over 500 to 600 pop. And they have a sizable chunk of the northern portions of the galaxy. So much so that they started expanding to the northern borders of the Principalities Empire. And they do not like me. They really don't fucking like me at all. We haven't had a war yet. Well, eh. We didn't go to war for a good 80 some odd years, because it's like the mid 25th century in game now. I own, like I said earlier, I own 2/3 of the galaxy now, just because I keep putting in certain systems into sectors and planets. But yeah, the space orcs made a federation with the principality, so now they're both allies. And I want to cleanse the principality because me and them, we got some beef. We got some pretty bad history together, and I want them gone. So last night, like 3 hours before I went to bed, I finally yeah, I finally declared war on them. Whew. And now the space orcs are angry, and they declared war on me because they're part of a federation. And so now I have 7 battle fleets: uh, Solar, Agrippina, Bacca, Cadia, Calixus, and Scaris. And so all 3 battle fleets are going into the Principalities space right now, and then the other 3 are going into Orc territory. And I've completely fortified the border for the space orcs because they're bigger They're slightly technologically more advanced than the Principality is, because the Principality lost a lot of its science that it had because I took it. Um, Also, their mineral production is not really that good right now because I crippled them. But the Space Orcs have a equal, if not bigger. Well, yeah, they do have a bigger one. They have 200 pop more pop, and they have about 10 more worlds than I do. So they have a higher naval capacity, but their fleet strength is equivalent to mine. And since I'm on a two front war, that would mean that they have more. If they're not stupid and they didn't just fucking throw all their eggs into one basket, that would mean that they're going to send in multiple fleets into my border that's touching theirs, which means those three fleets I have sent in are going to have to harass and basically distract their fleets. And they're going to have to jump around and just keep blowing fleet after fleet up. And I've sent them in to start basically decimating worlds so I can send in Imperial Guard units and Space Marine units right in. And what I'm doing uh, with the Principality is I'm going to take their capital, and the rest of their planets are going to be cleansed because I have taken the domination. It's either no, it's part of the supremacy unity perks that you can get from that skill tree. It halves war demands. So instead of 12, like a war score of 12 per cleansing, it's like 6. So they only have like they have like 21 they have like 20 worlds or 17 worlds or something like that. So like 16 of those I have ordered to be cleansed, and then their last world I want ceded to me so I can capture and whole it'll be part of my empire, which will give me the achievement which will give me the achievement of capturing an enemy homeworld, and then I'll just have the luxury of slowly starving them to death. So that'll be fun. I want them to have a slow, painful death because of all the shit. So that's fun. It's been really fun. But yeah, like I'm still dealing with the glitches in with repairing the science nexus. Uh, I found a ring world between the Principality and the Orcs. I built a frontier station right there, and I built fucking fortresses all around it so they can't take it from me. Um, the science array, the science nexus, and the sensor array are in my borders, very close to me, so that's good. But it's again, it's glitched. They're not building or repairing it effectively, so fuck. Plus, you can't build more than one megastructure at one time, so I'm fucked on actually trying to get those achievements. So that sucks. But yeah, that's currently where my game is at right now. Declaring war and getting ready to fucking fight a two front war with one crippled empire and one really big equivalent empire. And then what I got to do is there's 3 primitive species in the galaxy. I got to cleanse them. I'm currently uplifting one so I can get the achievement for uplifting a primitive species. Then I'm going to genetically no, I already did the genetically modify a species by genetically modifying my own species. Uh, but I'm going to uplift them so that they're loyal to me, and then I'm going to purge them because I'm going to go for the achievement of purge all sentient alien Xenos that aren't aren't your empire, which is trust not the Xenos achievement, which is again a reference to 40k. And then I will probably build. I will probably do another Iron Man mode one. Um, for some reason, I did not. There's no Fallen Empires, and I checked just in case to see if my settings had them off. They're not. I always have at least 3 Fallen Empires. So for some reason, this game kind of fucking dropped the ball on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another game with Fallen Empires so I can take Shielded Worlds and Holy Worlds to get the Das Vult achievement and the Kraka Shielded World and shit like that. So that's the good stuff that's been happening, I guess. Um, I will say it's reminding me why I kind of slowed down on playing Stellaris, which is there's a lot of downtime. Like what I just like all the shit I just described has taken place in like a 48-hour playtime or yeah, probably 48 hours I've played. Like, and that's on the fastest speed setting. It ugh, like there were like the last 80 years have just been mind numbing as I just send because I've expanded so fast that I haven't been building I haven't been taking all the resources in my systems in my borders. So now, like for the last 80 years, I've been sending like 30 fucking construction ships to build and take all the resources, so they're added to my production. But again, the problem is I really don't need a lot of the fucking shit that's in the systems now, like science, because I've maxed out all the science to research. I've researched everything that could be researchable, and now I'm doing repeats. So +5 to energy production, or +5 mineral production, +5 to kinetic weapon damage or attack speed, and so on and so forth. So yeah, just meh. But yeah, it's like 11 o'clock now. Uh, I want to eat more of my lo mein. It's probably ice cold now, so I'm gonna have to heat it up. Uh, I'm also tired, and I gotta go to work tomorrow. Oh, plus I gotta catch up on YouTube shit. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Sten, Frank, Queen, and Jen. Uh, hope you guys have a fantastic Friday and Saturday. I will try to do a stream Saturday. I don't know if I'll be able to do a stream Saturday, but I will try because I'm planning on playing Stellaris Friday. And if Paul's like, I don't want you working Saturday, like because you're saying 2 weeks are up, fuck you. I'll be like, all right, fine, and I won't go to work for Donald Saturday, and I'll just sit at home and fucking play Stellaris all day. Uh, but yeah, I will update you guys on how that game goes. So I will talk to you guys later.